AI will not replace you, but people who know AI will
Will
replace
replace
you.
you then. Hi all. So we have Samarjit with us today. He's the Associate Director Design at Yulu. And if I have to say about Yulu, Yulu is a micromobility focused startup. And let us check in with Samar about about Yulu. What does he do, and what was his journey into design?
Yep.
And I know Samar from the college. We are colleagues on the same same program at the
Same
same
program,
school.
same school. Yeah.
So you'll get to know about that. We'll also discuss a bit about bringing AI into education, into design education, and certain paths that we are taking, and we are trying to put everything together.
Yep.
So let's hear it from Samar.
Yeah. So hi Pratik, thanks for the nice introduction and thanks for inviting me. And to start with, Yulu. So Yulu is, as you said, that it's a micro mobility company, right? But in India, it's like kind of a very innovative mobility solution which Yulu is providing right now to its user. And if you want to know more what micromobility is, then I can just define in a way that it's a smarter way of commute. And why I'm saying smarter way of commute is, you know how traffic congestion issue exist in the country
Yes.
right now, and particularly in metro cities and all. And if we consider our mainstream vehicles like motorcycles and scooters and trucks and cars and all of these vehicles, so they generally go beyond speed of 45 kilometers per hour, right, at a speed. And because of that, and if I have to give you a little bit broader perspective of the mobility system in the country, so like apart from all the road condition you see on the road, 45% are the personal car users. Right, and that is the main reason why we have this
Congestion related
congestion,
issues.
apart from the infra. Right. So that is one important thing. And people who are riding in these cars are always, a single rider riding in that personal vehicle, going for his office commute and all. And regular commuters like who are there on the motorcycle and scooter, they face these issues of and that is causing a major trouble in the daily commute for regular users. So if you have to see I was going through a survey from McKinsey, and where they mentioned that on an average, each person spends around like 2 hours to 3 hours in a traffic. If you feel in a month, like if you or let's say per day in a traffic, and then if you calculate it in a month, then it will become like 60 hours and 70 hours. So that's much time we are just
That is
wasting
a
it and
lot of time.
absolutely, and people who are living in a metro cities, time is everything for them. It's money for them, right? But we're still facing this issue, and that is one thing, and that's where Yulu comes into picture. So I was building up a whole thing for the Yulu. So, and Yulu has introduced smart vehicles, and which does not go beyond 25 kilometers per hour speed, vehicle speed, and they are very small in a form factor wise, and they are intentionally small. They are not small out of, we don't have a lack of resources or something like that. So they are small because they have to maneuver smartly and swiftly throughout the traffic. Okay.
Smart is the keyword there.
Yeah. And not just from a hardware side, even from the software side also, we have developed our own IoTs, our own batteries, and all those things are there. And they are also heavily tech heavy equipments which we have installed in the vehicle. And again, we are app operated. So we are mobility company with a tech heavy installation on the vehicles. So that is what I'll say. And we provide mobility as a service. So that's what wrap up of
Everything.
Yulu.
So
Yes.
micromobility is perhaps is it can be defined as mobility which doesn't go beyond 25
Yes,
kilometers.
yes.
Usually is a single seater.
Yes.
And mostly for urban areas.
Yes.
And smart mobility is the
Exactly.
keyword there.
So they're majorly built for your daily commute. Like if you want to go like up to like 8-10 kilometers in a day, and then like to and fro. So you can use these vehicles for sure, and they will be very convenient. Whenever you visit Bangalore next time, and hopefully we'll come to Hyderabad also soon, so you can try this vehicle in reality, and then you can check and give feedback. How do you like it?
Yeah, but I had a very brief, riding, not in Bangalore, not
Yeah.
in the urban commute scenario, but I rode it in a very controlled environment. I love the experience,
Yep.
and it
Thanks.
it's
Thanks.
it's something what I feel is that the game controller, which
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
fits in your hand,
It's kind of
right?
fun. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun riding the
So
vehicle.
the way it fits into your hand, this
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is, the Yulu bike, it just fits, and
Exactly,
it's
exactly. So they are treated it falls into exempted category. They are treated equally as cycles.
okay.
So
So you don't need a
license and all those
license for
things.
that. So
Obviously, we encourage wearing helmet while you are riding this thing for your own safety, but technically we don't need. I mean, no normal mainstream automotive traffic
automotive.
regulation apply on this vehicle.
And
That's
I
why.
think the last time I visited Bangalore, I saw a lot of Yulu.
Yes.
Believe me, I
Yes.
saw a lot of
Yes.
Yulu. So it's good to see that all these platforms are improving, and at the same time, this little nippier smart
Yeah.
mobility,
Yeah.
I probably saw a lot of delivery personals using it, and I think that's a great
True.
initiative.
True. True.
So, and again, yes, Summer, apart from being associated with Yulu and design, he also is an educator, and this is probably the kind of second time you are
Yeah.
visiting
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
taking a course. So he's also involved with the students, the budding bachelors of design
Yeah.
students, and
Yeah.
how I think it's different how you bring in micromobility, and like people who would have always been thinking that mobility is just cars
Yeah,
or
cars or
trucks,
motorcycle, mainstream ones. Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
give it a different kind of perspective on
Yes.
that, and
Yes. Yes.
it changes people, and then I think that's what you have been trying, like telling
Yeah.
students to
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at
Yeah. Yes.
possibilities and
Yes. Yes.
explore.
Yes. Yes.
So what would be some of the advice that you would like to give the young viewers, people who are already doing design or who want to become designers, to
Sure.
look into micromobility as doing
Yeah. So
anything related
I'll
to that?
just zoom out a bit
Mm-hmm.
again. Again, I have to make a whole
Yeah.
build up. Right? So the thing is, when we graduated in our time
Yeah.
in NID, so mainstream automotive, like was at its pinnacle, particularly when it comes to design, and but it's kind of getting saturated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I feel, and obviously we get always attracted by a beautiful looking car and aggressive stance and the luxury and the overall feeling whenever we see any sports car just driving through a
Like
street.
everybody would be
Yeah,
always saying that
it's like
all the
head
way.
turner and all
Yeah.
those things are there, and we were always fascinated to someday we'll get opportunity to work in that design studios, that type of design studio. We'll work with some of the celebrated designers. So that was our aim
Yeah,
while
yeah.
we were in NID, right? That still is there.
Yeah,
But if you see mobility as a whole, then it's just a small segment, a very micro segment. Those luxury cars are holds a very micro segment of the whole mobility system. It is built for the classes, but it is
Yeah.
not built for the masses.
Masses, exactly.
Right, and that's where the whole game changes. Okay, and that's where you need innovation now, because every year there are companies who launch vehicles, there are companies who launch two-wheelers, motorcycles, and cars and all whatnot. But what is the relevance in the market? Are they
Exactly.
not adding a congestion on the roads, right? And in reality, even if you have a supercar, you have to use the same road,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
So the time and the energy which is going behind this vehicles are extremely high, and you're not solving a problem. That's a number one thing.
Yes, yes.
And you are again adding up your traffic congestion, plus you are wasting yours and other occupants who are driving along with you on the road. It's time.
So I think it's a time involved, and especially in India, where we think of all the resources. If you look at it, all are shared resources,
Exactly,
because everyone
exactly.
is trying to get from A to B.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
you are sharing that path. And I think a lot of people are kind of missing that out, because and things like this, like Yulu encourages mobility and shared mobility.
So that's a mobility aspect of it. But now the overall thing is the point which I was making there. It's not only about the mobility. Mobility has impact everywhere. So if you have a traffic congestion on the road, then it will impact your public transport as well. Then it will impact your overall infrastructure as well. Then it will impact your people's movement as well. Then it will impact your real estate as well. So it's not just one problem. It's a domino effect of a lot of problems. So if you have a traffic on roads, consider that you are slowing down your development of the city perspective.
Like a wicked problem in
Exactly. So you have to address that, and that's where we are trying to do our bit by introducing this small form factor vehicles. And as I was explaining, the trend of mobility is shifting now.
Yeah.
There was a main requirement of this mainstream vehicle which I just mentioned, but there is another requirement or another market which is booming right now, and that is innovation in mobility in form of shared mobility, in form of smart mobility, or in form of just leave the roads and go in the air, like drone kind of mobility. So and if you understand this market, so right now the overall market across the world is somewhere around $140 billion market. Okay, which is projected to go up to $400 billion market by 2030 and beyond. So
that's
a huge
7 years ahead. Just 7 years.
Just 7 years ahead, and you can see that there is an exponential growth available in this market, and there are like a lot of companies who are coming up with a very smart concept. And main important thing is you have to introduce a purpose-built vehicle on the road, so which solves your problem. There are vehicles built to solve the particular purpose. If it is a purpose of delivery, then why not to build a vehicle around delivery guy,
delivery person, yes.
suit his requirement and finish that job, and you are done with it. Okay, and so something like this. So those kind of things are coming up. I'll always encourage people, they should come up with a new kind of solutions to provide this. Provide this to society, and then they should always come up with innovative solutions and something like this. So don't ignore this smart mobility market. It is
I think it is exactly this point that I see you're designing with the students. The projects they are taking up are all based on the requirements that India has as such. So that it means most of the world countries would have some of these problems.
Exactly.
We are trying to tackle that in the studios, in the design studios, as well as I think this might be a stepping stone for them to get into mobility and figure out around certain projects that we're working on. And coming to that, I also know that you have been exploring AI and how to integrate that into the process.
We have to. It's a compulsory rule now.
It's exciting that with the course that you are doing, you are also kind of integrating it with the course. That creates new outlook on how teaching and learning is going on.
True.
Could you just elaborate on that?
Sure. So I'll just again continue with your previous question, and just to mention this purpose-built concept. So we have a few briefs where they are designing a vehicle for postmen.
That's a very interesting.
Another group which is designing a vehicle for farmers. Okay. And there is one more group who is designing a mobility solution for railway sahayak, which was earlier known as a coolie. So those kind of innovation has a potential, and those kind of innovation has a market there, right? And when we talk about the design approach of all of these things which you mentioned, so AI is the same, whatever you can say, it's a very advanced tool available for us right now, which we have to learn, right? So there is a famous quote of Elon Musk, I'm not sure whether he has said it or not, but it's floating around under his name, that AI will not replace you, but people who know AI will replace you. And that is a realistic threat which we have to address. But that's a negative side of it. We'll not get into that. But the most important thing is we have to see how AI can be helpful in your design process,
enriching your
process. And if I have to just briefly touch upon the steps which we followed in this particular module, so students are coming up with a brief. Then they are doing the initial sketches. Then we are transporting the sketches to the vizcom, okay, or an AI
In
platform,
AI platform,
and then they
obviously.
are ideating further on the concepts in AI itself, right? And then they are again going back to their 3D modeling
3D
or their
modeling,
sketching, and
yeah.
then Photoshop and all those things. So AI helps them in speed up the ideation process where they are in control,
Okay, yeah.
and that is the most important part which I would like to put more emphasis there. And people are taking AI for granted in such a way that they are thinking once we'll give input to AI will do all the work.
Yeah.
No, it will not. It will not at this stage. I don't know about the future, but
Yeah,
not
but
at least
yeah,
not in this
right.
stage. So you are in the driving seat. AI is just there to help you envision your concept. So there are things where people, they are giving some concept, and AI is giving any very random input, which is not relevant at
Relevant,
all,
yeah.
right? And that is what the main problem is. You have to tell AI through prompt or through your sketches or through your strokes that I want particular this type of input. Okay, then AI will help you, creating an idea, because it can generate like a very varied kind of
Yeah.
concept, like from airplane to needle from a single sketch.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has that kind of
The
potential.
potential, yeah.
And if you leave AI on its own, it will create something out of this world, and
Yes.
very you might feel it's very weird there, but you have to stay relevant. That is the
Yeah.
most important thing. And how will you stay relevant? You have to be in the control or be in charge of this whole process, and give instruction to AI continuously that how to manipulate your input, and then AI will give you some fabulous results.
So I think again here it is important that as students or as design practitioners, we know our basics of
Yeah.
how surfaces work, or how our volumes, understanding light and shadow, uh, and making sure AI understands
Yeah,
that
yeah,
light
yeah.
and
True,
shadow
true,
and the
true, true,
volume,
true,
and
true, true.
also keeping in mind about how this thing would look in 3D, and
Yeah.
that all helps. So
Yeah.
for all the students and people who are aspiring to learn design also, it is important that you learn your basics very well,
Yes.
and then build on it. So like any tool from Photoshop to Blender to any 3D software and even AI, it's best if you have the basic knowledge.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
proportion thing that
Yes,
you are talking
yes, yes.
about, right?
So I absolutely resonate with you on that. So, thing is, if you are giving an unproportionated sketch to AI, AI will give you result on that unproportionate sketch, and that will be a disaster. Okay, so you have to know your basics.
Yeah.
You have to understand how pen and paper works. You have to know how sketching works. You have to know what are the basics of sketching. You have to know the basic light and shadow and basic surfaces of it. If you know this basic stuff, then AI can take your work to advanced level. But if you are just trying out few random things with your poor sketches, or I'll not say, I will not use the word poor there, but if you are just giving any unthoughtful sketches to the AI, then AI will give you input accordingly.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is what you should not do, right? So it is extremely important. It all starts with pen and paper till now.
Yes.
Okay, it's very relevant to learn those skills, and then like you learned Photoshop, like you learned Blender or any other software. Similarly, you can try your hands now in AI with whatever available software, midjourney or vizcom or Leonardo or whatever you feel is comfortable to you. So use it as a tool to enhance your creativity without forgetting your basics.
Yes,
That's where
yes,
the
yes.
whole intention. That's what the whole intention is, to give you the gist or crux of
So I think
this whole discussion.
in design also, there has always been tools coming in,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Photoshop, then
that's
3D
true.
software. So this AI is also another tool that is
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
into
yeah.
whole play.
Obviously,
And
it is
helping.
intelligent, so
Yes.
there is a threat of, you know, I mean, how much work will be taken over by AI. So that's threat is there, but yeah, it's very extremely useful for now, right? So that's what it is.
And I think it is probably when you get things right and you put it in AI and work it, it's also satisfying and gratifying for the student.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
To see something
Yes,
they
yes,
envision.
yes. it
And
will.
also a pinch of salt and pepper on things.
It has a capacity to give you input which you never think of.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the most important part. That I have seen those, mesmerizing expression on students' face when they see that result, that I will never think about it, I will never
Yeah.
imagine this in this way.
Mhm.
And they get surprised by their own inputs which they are giving in the form of prompt. And if you see the overall output, it's like extremely amazing, next level thing. So that's what it is. That's what it will empower you
Uh-huh.
if you know your if you allow it to, so it's a kind of a controlled chaos. Controlled chaos is a kind of word which will suit best.
And a lot of serendipity in that
Exactly.
also.
That's true. That's true.
So, like we in education also, I see that there is a general, people are thinking around how do you integrate with your process and so. And I think like this is we were somehow in the flow, getting things on. We are always ready to try new things, integrate that with our process and try and bring out whatever results are there.
True.
So anyhow, Samar, thank you so much
Yep,
for
yep.
discussing all these things. It's always been a pleasure hosting you here and
Same here.
also
Same here.
hosting you for the video. And I've been really forcing him to do this video with me. So and I hope people watching you have got some insights into micromobility,
Yep.
AI for designers, and yeah, we always encourage people. Also, I always encourage people who are interested in design
Sure.
to start or to try to study design, because
Sure.
India needs designers.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We
yes.
are in huge need of that, and
Design.
we need to build a better country.
Yes,
and
yes, and it's
make
literally
India-
in their hands.
Yes, exactly. We need to make India better. That's
So,
that's what.
thank you, and
Yep.
it's been a great time. So
Yep.
I hope you also had a great time, and see you for the next one.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye bye.